friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, it's a matter of pride for all of us that TRAI is completing 25 years in the service of the nation, and I compliment Dr. Vaghela and your entire team for the wonderful work that you have done to help the Indian telecom industry grow in a very organized fashion. And of course, what better coincidence than to celebrate your 25 years when the nation is celebrating its Amrit Mahotsav, the 75 years of our independence. It's truly a matter of delight for me to be a part of your celebrations and to get an opportunity to talk about the Prime Minister's vision when he conceptualized the gati Shakti National Master Plan Initiative. Earlier speakers spoke about the telecom revolution in recent times, in the going forward into the future, our own role, which is expanding significantly on research, on innovation, which brings to mind the huge impact communication and its technologies, as they evolved over the years, have had on human civilization. If one goes back to the 4th century, the Greek hydraulic optical telegraph system in the 4th century BC, to the first commercial telephone services, I believe between New Haven and London in 1879. The world had seen one phase of growth in the communication world. After Marconi, the Italian inventor, made the first wireless telegraphy, we had our very own Indian scientist, Dr. Jagdish Chandra Bose, who pioneered the investigations of radio and microwave optics. The journey of telecom in this country over the last 8 years has been one of significant reform which has helped bring down the cost of using telecom facilities, whether it's voice or data, to levels unheard of, unparalleled in the rest of the world. Reform to make life and business easier. Reform to save and protect issues or companies which are having issues. Reform to ensure customer gets choice, but customer also gets world-class services. And in several measures, this reform story, this reform journey is a continuing journey. And I was just having some informal discussions with Mr. Vaishnav, and they're already looking at newer steps, newer ways to make the telecom revolution always make it contemporary, ensure that it's ahead of its times. Our regulators have ensured the very proper, stable and predictable policies in the country. They have ensured that companies work to a plan, but companies also work in the interests of customers. And as Consumer Affairs Minister, I think I can express my gratitude to TRAI for ensuring that I have some of the lowest number of complaints in the Consumer Affairs Ministry related to telecom. This government responds whenever the need arises to any crisis. If I were to start listing out instances, probably Dr. Vaghela will have to serve us dinner also. But it has been the most responsive government, of course, in many sectors, including in the telecom sector in a very, very significant way. I was almost tempted to divert from the subject to something which is very contemporary and related to me, where the government demonstrated exemplary response and timely response, but I'll avoid talking about it and diverting the subject on hand. But truly, this has been a government that does not stand as a constant. With changing times, with emerging situations, this government proactively responds. It acts, digitizing the economy, boosting the startup ecosystem, improving governance further, help ease of living and ease of doing business across the country. Thus, the two programs, the two technology programs that TRAI is launching is truly very, very appropriate and relevant as the government moves more and more towards a self-reliant economy. The collaborative regulations program that we have launched, the co-creation and sharing of infrastructure in sync with the PM Gati Shakti initiative, truly has path-breaking potential. And secondly, the International Regulators Roundtable that you have chaired on collaborative regulations using RegTech and other technology platforms. To my mind, both of these are extremely relevant today, can generate the next level of transformation in this sector, and I compliment you for having visualized this, and I'm sure your pioneering work will help other regulators also, and this work will take the India story to the rest of the world to understand own contribution in the past in this field. And I have no doubt in my mind that the work that the telecom sector has done in the last few years, particularly, as Minister Vaishnav said, with regard to bridging the digital divide, with regard to making telephony and telecom a part of everybody's day-to-day life, an affordable and integral part of our lives. I have no doubt that information and communication technologies, along with digital connectivity, which is growing at a rapid pace to reach every village in the country, will be the foundation of India's growth story in the years to come. It will have its own impact on almost every sector in the country, and the new age digital connectivity, very often based on wireless, or sometimes on wired and linked technologies, and off late, also dependent in a big way with satellite technologies. All of them collectively as an ecosystem will play a crucial role in taking up the challenges that the world faces. And one of the most recent examples is clearly the COVID-19 pandemic, where the telecom systems, both in India and in the rest of the world, helped by enabling quick and easy access to health infrastructure, and of course several other support systems, even as elementary a thing as keeping all of us locked down in our homes, which we could manage by working from home, using the communication facilities widely available across the country. The fact that entertainment was available at home, keeping everybody rooted to their own homes. The fact that education could quickly switch over to EdTech, and we saw the rapid mushrooming of online education during this period. And of course, India's own contribution to meeting the needs of the world in the IT space through the COVID period. So much so that I'd like to thank all of you associated with this ecosystem for earning India the title of a trusted partner, because through the COVID ban and corruption, and prime ministers were forced to acknowledge that when the central government or any government sends 100 rupees to the poor, they barely enjoy the benefit of 15 rupees. With an 85% leakage through the value chain, this country has transformed itself, has revolutionized itself, has reformed processes, has used technology to bridge the gap and ensure zero leakages, and the 100 rupees that goes to the poor reaches the poor as 100 rupees with no cost on the poor, no leakages, no middlemen, no corruption in the system. And to my mind, for many of us, all of us who are taxpayers in this room, who often used to wonder that when we pay such taxes, is our money being put to good use? Who used to be concerned with this level of corruption over the years. This is the single most happiness that our taxes today, the taxes that you and I pay, are being put to good use. They are being used for the welfare of the poor. They are being used to respond to the needs of the poor. They are being used to provide toilets to every home, to provide electricity connection to every home, to provide cooking gas connections to every home, to ensure digital connectivity reaches every home, to ensure every family gets a proper house. With over 30 million, 3 crore and more houses already having been built and given to the poor of this country, both in rural and urban India. All of these programs being possible because they are resting on technology. And I must say, one of the biggest transformational initiatives was the One Nation, One Ration card, which Prime Minister Modi had conceptualized, recognizing that there are large numbers of beneficiaries of the National Food Security Program and now the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, by which free food grains are being distributed to 800 million people, 80 crore of our less privileged brothers and sisters, seamlessly using technology throughout the country.